Hi and welcome to Watch the Time. And in the UK, we're back in full lockdown, so I thought this would be a good opportunity to do a couple of reviews. I'm going to review the watch that I'm wearing, do my sort of long-term review now the honeymoon's over on the Tudor Black Bay 58. Really enjoying this watch. Spoiler alert: it is borderline perfect for me, anyway. Another watch which is borderline perfect for me is the Omega Speedmaster, and I thought it'd be a good idea to do my sort of full review after having it for a few months, so the honeymoon period is over. And also, I thought it was a good time to do a review on this because the new improved version of the Speedmaster Professional has just been released, and this is now a discontinued watch. So I'll cover off my thoughts on that first, whilst you just have a look at the watch. Now, the new watch is undoubtedly an upgrade. It's an improvement. They've improved lots of little things. They've also tweaked some of things, some of the look of the watch that I'm not overly keen on, and also they've changed some things that absolutely don't affect me in any way, like the dot over 90 that everyone makes a big deal about. I mean, seriously, you know, if it upsets you or if it's important to you, that's fine, but it makes no difference to me whatsoever. I don't get that, but it's fine. The stepped dial I don't particularly like. I prefer this dial, the flat dial. So I don't particularly like that. That's another one of the changes. And there's little things like the very like the little pivots on the sub seconds, and the small hands are polished as opposed to painted white. The tip for the chronograph, the arrow tip is slightly different. I think it's a little bit bigger and it's pushed out a little bit, but again, it doesn't bother me. They've changed the track around the outside, and it doesn't. I prefer this track around the outside. So a lot of the changes I'm not actually that keen on. And another big change is the fact that it's over £1,000 more expensive than this watch. Well, I couldn't have afforded to spend another £1,000 for this watch. I wouldn't have done it. I wouldn't have bought it. So if I was looking to buy one now, you can still get these. I'd be going for the cheaper option. Now, another one of the changes that I did like the look of was to me in the pictures, the crown looked a little bit bigger on the new one, and this could do with a slightly bigger crown. That's a good upgrade in my opinion. It's not a deal breaker. This is absolutely fine, but that is, to my mind, that would be a worthwhile upgrade. So I'm just going to take this off the cushion. And obviously, I forgot to mention the movement upgrade is a fairly substantial one. The movement now has hacking, slightly better power reserve, and it is the new Omega coaxial system, so that's great. So we've got the sealed case back with all the information and the hippocampus on there. I like that. I specifically went for this Hesselite or acrylic, whatever you call it, version as opposed to the sapphire version, and I think I'm well pleased with that. I'm not particularly hard on my watches, and if it gets scratched, it gets scratched. And at the end of the day, that's fine. I like the fact that on the new version they've kept a aluminium bezel insert. The ceramic ones I just think are too shiny. So the other big change is with the bracelet. It's a new designed bracelet, a new designed buckle or clasp, and the end links are different. So where this has an end link, which as you can see there, it doesn't articulate very well, so it extends the lug to lug of this watch when you have it on the bracelet. That is an issue for people with smaller wrists, and they've changed that by having a articulated centre link, so this problem doesn't exist. So people with slightly smaller wrists would still be able to wear the Speedmaster on the bracelet. It's no problem for me. I've got just over 7.25, between 7.25 7.5 inch wrist, and it's absolutely fine. As you can see from the amount of the marks on here, I do wear it on the bracelet quite a lot, and I have no issues with it whatsoever. Only 2 micro adjust and no sort of on the fly adjustment, but it's fine. It works absolutely fine for me. And that leads me nicely onto the strap that I've got it on at the moment. I just wanted to try it on a leather racing strap because yes, it's the moon watch, but ultimately, originally this was a racing chronograph, and so I bought a racing sort of leather strap. This is a really nice leather strap from Watch Gecko. It's a burgundy, it's Italian leather. It's really well made, lovely deep burgundy red. Yeah, and it's one of those that's just going to improve with time. Really comfortable, and I really like the look of it. I think it's quite bold, but the dark burgundy goes really well with the black and white, the very stark and sort of clear dial. Whilst we're on the subject of the dial as well, one of the other changes, if you buy the new Sapphire Sandwich, you get a an applied Amiga logo, similar to what's on my Speedmaster Professional. Again, it's not a deal breaker for me, it's not an issue. So, would I buy the new improved, the upgraded version? No, I wouldn't. If I had the choice, I would actually go for this. I prefer the look of the dial on this one when I see them side by side. So I'm more than happy with this watch. I'm just going to throw up some dimensions here. So we've got about a 42mm case, this watch, and one of the important things on this watch is the wingspan, or the lug to lug distance is quite long at about 47. With those extended links for the bracelet, it does make it about 50mm. Now, obviously you've got a choice. You can wear it on a leather because that reduces the wingspan with the bracelet, or the new version with the new bracelet is certainly less of an issue, but it is still a fairly sizable watch, but not as big as a lot of people made out. A lot of watch reviewers have got very small wrists. I don't know why that is, but when you watch a lot of watch reviews, a lot of them have small wrists, and this swamped people, and it almost convinced me to get the reduced version, the smaller version, but I'm glad I didn't, because this is fine. Just do the thickness. So about 14mm thick, but a lot of that thickness is the domed crystal and the domed case back, which sits nicely into the wrist. So there it is on my just over 7-inch wrist. As you can see, the wingspan is not an issue, but it is a fairly long wingspan, but looks really nice on my wrist. Fits absolutely beautifully. I wouldn't say this is a watch for someone with a 6 3/4 inch wrist, or maybe 7 might be a stretch as well. But for me, absolutely perfect. I love the way it looks. One of the things I've noticed, and it was really brought home when I was comparing this Tudor Black Bay, and I was sort of trying to think to myself and write down why I liked these two watches, because they're quite different watches, but why I like them so much. And one of the things is legibility, and it's why I liked the Zin 104 so much. The black and white dial, the stark contrast, the clear markers, the hands that go right to the ends. You can see the seconds and the fifths of seconds. The legibility is key for me, and this is legibility in daylight and in darkness. I'll just pop a loom clip in here, and as you can see, the loom is very good. There's not a lot of it because it's got slender hands and slender markers, but the loom is very good, and it's there sort of all night long. Once your eyes are accustomed, you can pretty much tell the time at any time. So legibility for me on a watch is key, and I found myself selling watches and not really knowing why, but then I've now come to realise it's all to do with legibility. And when you watch my full review of the Tudor Black Bay 58, I am going to mention that this is the most legible watch night and day that I own and I've ever owned. It's amazing. So there you go. There it is on the leather strap. I'm really enjoying it on this leather strap, and then I change it up now and again, and I'll put it back on the bracelet, and it sort of like reinvigorates your desire to wear the watch, and which is great. I've really enjoyed this strap, and at the moment I'm going to keep it on the strap. I love the colour. Yeah, I just think it's a great watch. Kind of an elephant in the room really is the fact that it's a manual wind movement. Now, for me, if it was my only watch, it would probably be an issue. At the moment, it's never stopped on me. But if it was my only watch, I could see that happening. Now, you only need to wind it every couple of days, but I find that I kind of forget whether I wound it the day before and whether it's due for a wind. So I tend to wind it every day when I'm wearing it. Sometimes if I'm wearing something else for a couple of days, I'll just keep this running. I'll just wind it each day and leave it in the box. and that works fine. It's no issue for me. It's a pleasure to wind. Even with the slightly small crown, it's nice and easy to wind, and when it's fully wound, there's a nice bit of resistance just before it stops to let you know that it's fully wound. And you get to know how many it needs, or like on a daily basis. About 20 to 25 small turns on a daily basis keeps it pretty much fully wound. So this hasn't been wound for 2 days. So this is a full wind now, and this is real time. How long it takes for a full wind? There, it's done. So that was a full wind after not winding it for 2 days. And that's no problem to me. I don't have an issue with it. I wouldn't want that as my only watch. If this was my only watch, I really would want an automatic or a quartz, to be honest, just for the convenience factor. There's no date, so when you come to set it, it's just, and there's no hacking. So the seconds hand doesn't stop when you pull the crown out. I've got no issue with that. So, literally, you pop the crown out, set the time, and wind and go. So, it is not an issue for me at all. Would it be better as an automatic? Well, they do the reduced automatic version, but then you get issues with the movement, and the pushers are out of line with the crown and things like that. So no, this is more true to the original being a hand wind, and I'm happy with that. And it's a great watch. It's definitely staying in my collection, and I really enjoy wearing it. You can see as I'm showing you around the case there. There's all little marks and scratches on it already. This is my watch, and it will stay as part of my collection. I should think forever. I can't see why I'd ever get rid of it, to be honest. People have said to me, well, you could sell your watches and buy yourself a Rolex. And yeah, I could. I've probably got enough invested in my watches now with my two Omegas and my Tudor, my Seiko. I could probably sell all those and buy a Rolex Submariner, but I don't really want one. Is the bottom line, and I really enjoy these watches. So yeah, very happy with it. Even getting the box out today was I enjoyed that. It's an experience every time you get the box out, and I don't keep it in the box because I wear it too often, but it is a great experience. So all in all, I'm really happy with it still. Absolutely love it. I love looking at it when it's in the watch box, and it's always sort of crying out to be worn. I suppose the only, if you want to nitpick about this watch, it's not water resistant particularly. I think it's like 50 meters they call it. Well, this isn't a watch you want to dunk and get wet, so that is a limitation of the watch that you have to be aware of. Don't accidentally wear it in the shower or things like that, and that's part of the reason why I've put a leather strap on it, because it kind of reminds me, don't get it wet, because you do not want to get a leather strap wet. They go horrible. They go like chamois leathers basically. So that kind of reminds me, when I'm wearing this watch, don't get it wet, because I do just wear it all the time sometimes, and you do have to check yourself and think, should I be wearing this in this situation, even if it's like going on the motorbike and it's raining and stuff like that. So let's just reset the chronograph. That's a pleasurable experience. It's a clunk, and it resets perfectly every time. I really do enjoy that. So there you go. That's my updated review on the Omega Speedmaster Professional. Absolutely love it. It's a keeper. Like, subscribe, comment. I'd really like to hear your comments on the new, more expensive version of this watch, and whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, because that really is pushing the price up now. I think in the UK it's about 5,300, whereas this was 4,200. So let me know what you think. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon. Cheers, bye.